Hi marshmallows, welcome back to another video. Yes, you read the title right. Yes, this is Surviving Apple. I'm making this video basically to describe my experience with having an iPhone and the hell it has caused me. Oh my gosh, it has been absolute hell having an iPhone. So yeah, I'm gonna be writing a real honest, unbiased review on it. I'm gonna try my best not to be biased. I do prefer Samsung, but I'm not gonna be biased, okay? I also am making this video because I feel like Apple, the company, is really just a fucking scam. And I feel like the reason why everybody glorifies it is because it's popular. It's popular, social peer pressure, wanting to fit in. And I mean, yeah, pretty much that. Like iPhone, Apple, the company itself is a scam, and I will be exposing that in today's video. But real quick, hi, my name's Soraya. I am a psychic intuitive. I offer personal tarot readings, and psychic readings. Link down in the description below. I do have a Patreon where I post other readings, celebrity readings on there. I post money spells. Yes, I recently posted a money spell. Go check that out. And hexes. So yeah, go on my Patreon, and if you want to reach out to me, I have a Discord where you can talk one-on-one or in a group setting. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so this is the phone I will be talking about. This is the Apple iPhone 12. This is the 12. All right, and this is in the color purple lavender. I don't really know. They don't really have that much cool colors. So yeah, I got this phone back and I made a video about it. So if you scroll down further enough on my channel, you can see where I actually did like an unboxing for this phone, right? Before I had this phone, I had the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, much older than this phone. This was the phone I had throughout middle school. I believe from 6th grade to 8th grade I had this phone. When I finally transitioned into high school, I'd gotten this phone in like either my sophomore or junior year. So I'm pretty sure this is when I was 16 years old. So I would say about like 2021, 2022 is when I have this phone. We have now, entered 2025. So I would give it about 22, let me see, 22, 23, 24, 25. So it's been like 3, 4 years since I've had this phone. And let me just show you the condition that this phone is in. Let's just start, before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's start with the condition of this phone, okay? Um, Two cameras, right? The iPhone 12 features two cameras. This camera was broken. It got broken, I believe, back in 2023 when I was in college. I was outside, girl. We were playing Manhunt, and accidentally my phone fell on the concrete, and somehow it got broken. So yeah, the cameras number one are very sensitive. Ever since this camera got broken, I have not been able to use my what do you call it? My back camera. The front camera works. Back camera is screwed. It doesn't work. So there's that. What else? There are a couple cuts here. Okay, the glass is kind of broken here. I will give iPhone this. The back of this phone, whatever this is, the glass is very good. I've dropped my phone numerous times and there is barely any scratches here. Like I said, the only visible cracks are right here. Can y'all even see that? Like, yeah, that's the only visible crack. I cannot really write an accurate review on my front home screen because number one, this phone will not turn on. It is completely dead, and I replaced the screen. So let's just get right into it, right? The durability of this phone, how long it lasted, right? This phone lasted me about inching 4 is a stretch. I would say 3 years before it started to really break down. Matter of fact, I would say 2 years. I'd been holding on to this phone by a thread. Like after the 2 year mark, the iPhone 12, I don't know about any of their other phones. This is the only iPhone I've ever owned, right? After about 2 years, this phone started to break down. First of all, one thing I noticed, it overheated very quickly. And this was like way before the camera broke. This was when I had first gotten it. I'd give it about like 2, 3 weeks later after I got this phone, overheating quickly as hell. Battery gets drained very poor. Like it has a horrible battery life. Number two, whenever I would go on FaceTime, because that's why a lot of people have iPhones and Apple products, right? You would ask them, you pull a random person from the street and say, hey, why do you have Apple? Besides the fact that, oh, everybody has it and it's just a trend, they're going to tell you, oh, FaceTime, right? being on FaceTime on this phone was terrible because number one, FaceTime drained my battery so bad. I could barely use my phone. It's to the point where I barely used FaceTime actually. After I first gotten this phone, I would say like 2 months later, I stopped using FaceTime because every time I was on FaceTime, it drained my battery completely, or my phone would overheat while I'm on FaceTime to the point where it would get drained. The battery would eventually die. So there's that horrible battery life. And FaceTime sucks, right? FaceTime overheats your phone. Overheats very easily. What else? Apple, and this is like the worst part of it all. Apple charging you at random hours, including midnight, early in the day while you're asleep, charging you consistently $12. There was one point where Apple had charged me $7 like 12 times. And I had to call Apple customer service to remove those unnecessary charges. So that is the biggest downfall of having an Apple product, period. Not even just a phone, them charging you at 11 at night. And I want you guys, as you're watching this video, listen to all the things I have to say, right? Because I'm not just gonna say negative things. I'm gonna say some positive things, right? Um, but listen to all that I have to say, and I want you to decide. I want you to comment down below. Do you think having an iPhone is worth it, right? So yes, the charging in the middle of the night, and I'm not gonna say Apple's really out here scamming. Listen, I don't know, but I feel like they need to really start organizing and properly communicating what you're being charged for. You can't just charge people at random hours in the middle of the night and not say what you're being charged for. You know what I mean? So there's that. The random charges, terrible. What else? Like I said, the phone, iPhones are very sensitive. You can't do too much with iPhones, okay? Something I used to do, which I will take accountability for this, I used to take my phones in the shower with me. Now, I'm not saying I'd put it in the water and go underwater with it, no. But sometimes I use my phones while I'm in the shower for a little bit, and it would actually deplete my phone. It would make it worse. So, for example, water used to get in my phone. Yeah, terrible. Like I said, we're listing all the negatives right now. I'll list the positive towards the end. Another negative, I would say, let me think. I would say is the lack of variety. That's another negative about Apple. There's not much variety when it comes to customizing your phone or even getting a color. Like they don't have many variations of colors with iPhones. So yeah, like that should have been one of the first things because I really didn't even want purple. I wanted silver or white, and it was all sold out because they don't have any other colors. I'm pretty sure if they had a much more broader range of colors, then that phone probably wouldn't have excuse me, the iPhone 12 white version wouldn't have sold out so quickly. They don't have any variety, period. And especially when it comes to customizing your front screen and your wallpaper, there's not much variety with that either. So, yeah. The updates. That's another thing. The updates. Your phone will update, and the update is known to cause issues. Like if your phone, especially the older your phone is, mind you, they make it to where it's kind of like you have to update your phone. You cannot use your phone if you do not update it. And that's another downside to Apple. Let me say that they are very like controlling. Like Apple, the company, is very controlling. So for example, right, when they come and charge you in the middle of the night, and to your knowledge, it's for no reason because they don't tell you what you're being charged for. They just charge you, right? So when you're being charged in the middle of the night, right? Say for example, you don't give them your money. You will not be able to download any apps or update any apps. Or this thing used to happen as well. If I didn't update my iPhone, I couldn't use my AirPods. Yes, I'm being so serious. If I did not update my iPhone, my AirPods would not sync to my phone and I could not use my AirPods on my phone. So I noticed that. I noticed that if I update my phone, all of a sudden magically my AirPods start working again. I noticed whenever I paid them the random $7 they'd be charging me, all of a sudden I could download apps again. So that's another thing that I don't like about Apple, which is a huge downside, is their kind of aggressiveness when it comes to operating the system. Siri's overrated. I'm sorry. That's not necessarily a negative, but I'm just gonna say this. Like in the beginning, I used Siri a lot. I did. I was like, "Hey, I got an iPhone now. I could say, hey Siri, what's up? Hey Siri, hey Siri." Um, Quickly, the whole Siri thing just wasn't working. She didn't respond when I called her to. A lot of the time I would ask questions, she wouldn't be able to answer, like very simple questions too, like, "Hey, what's the weather today?" So there's that. Okay, I don't even know, y'all. Let me, like, for those of you who are like watching this, what number am I at right now? Do y'all, okay, comment down below the number of downsides I gave to owning an Apple phone. Another downside I would say is, damn, I just thought about it. Oh, yes, the security system, right? And that's something I'm going to bring up later. The security system when it comes to Apple is terrible. If you do not remember the password to your Apple ID, trying to get into your iCloud is like, oh, girl, it's like you got to call on the FBI in order to get to your fucking Apple. Like it's horrible. When my phone crashed and for some reason the screen stopped working completely, and I tried to get into my iPhone, bro. When I finally was able to turn my phone back on, I tried to get into my iPhone after spending $200 to fix the screen, bro. Oh my gosh. I couldn't get in for like a week. I had to call Apple customer service and factory reset my iPhone from scratch just to get into my iCloud. Now, I know y'all like, why didn't you try resetting the password? I couldn't. Because come to find out, you can't reset your password unless you have another Apple device. So if you try to reset your password on a Samsung, you can't do it. You need an Apple device. So I was stuck for like 2, 3 weeks with no form of communication for real. I had to go get a flip phone. For those, if you were there, you know, you know. So that's another downside is the over extremism of their security system. It's good because hey, you don't got to worry about nobody tapping into your iCloud, which I've heard that has happened to people before, but it's not good when you're actually trying to tap into your iCloud and you don't remember anything, right? And you can't get into your phone, your original device. Um, so yeah, I think those are all the negatives I have to say for now about the iPhone. Like I said, the back screen is very durable. So let's start with the positives, right? This portion, I don't know about anybody else, but with the iPhone 12 and I'm assuming up, because I haven't seen anybody with like the iPhone 12 and up with a terrible, like cracked back screen. The back of the phone is very, very durable, y'all. This has not been replaced. This has stayed the same, and there's barely any scratches, any bruises on it. I guess the metal or something about the material of the glass really does help prevent against those those scratches or tarnishings you can get on your phone. A positive is the camera quality. The camera quality of an iPhone, like that's one thing I'll always give Apple its props. Camera quality is great. When you take pictures, they're looking great. The lighting is amazing. Lighting is wonderful. Another positive, like I said, is you get to fit in. I mean, I know some people are like gonna be like, "Girl, what? How is that a positive?" But let's keep it a buck. A lot of people have iPhones because it's popular. If iPhones wasn't so popular, I promise you, barely anybody would own it. Okay, because it's overpriced, and that's another negative. Let's draw back to the negatives. Overpriced for what you're paying for. It is completely overpriced. I feel like iPhone should be half the price because they don't last that long. That's another downside. iPhones do not last that long. You got a good 2 years before you have to switch to a new iPhone. And that's another downside too. Sometimes they will force you to switch. They will literally start effing up the iPhones on a wide scale to the point where multiple people have no choice but to get a new iPhone. So yeah, there is that. So let's get back to the positives. Like I said, you get to go on FaceTime. The back, okay, for 12s and up, what I believe is the back is very durable. Camera quality is amazing. What else? The iCloud system, here's what I will say. It is very, very protective. Okay, high security level, almost too high. The iCloud system also does regularly update. So whatever you lost is kind of easy to get back if you know your password. If you know your password, is very easy to get back. Um, and have access to all your pictures and data and stuff like that. Oh, here's another negative slash positive. iPhones are very small. Like on a wide scale, unless you're ordering the deluxe, iPhones are very small. I noticed the regular size of Samsung is actually very big. Like these are the regular Samsung Galaxy Note 9, Samsung Galaxy, I think this is a A36, I believe. These are regular sizes. These are not the pluses or ultras. The regular sizes are much bigger than the iPhone. So iPhones do run on a small scale. So if you prefer more petite, smaller phones, iPhones are for you. If you want bigger phones, Androids, and specifically Samsung is definitely for you. Another plus I will give is the whole facial recognition thing. It actually really helped me a lot. Sometimes I didn't want to always tap the screen and open and do my pin, put in my pin password and all of that. Sometimes I just simply look at my phone and the screen unlocks. So that is very convenient as well. What else? The I guess you can say the emojis are great. A lot of systems and a lot of games and apps do work very well with iPhone, so that is another plus. Um, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, like that's all I could really think of for real. You know, and like I said, just to tie it all back, you get to fit in, but at what cost? So I'm gonna finish detailing my journey with this iPhone as well. Child, if you guys don't know, I had to recently spend $200 to fix the screen because, like I said, one day I was on YouTube Live and randomly my phone screen went black and it would not come on. I could hear the system working, I could hear if somebody called me, I could hear notifications, but my screen was not working. So I went to go get my screen replaced, $200 wasted. Then I had to wait 5 days for to get on the phone with Apple and to reset my password, which I was able to do in the end. And obviously everything was wiped out because I had to factory reset. So yeah, I mean, just I didn't have the best experience. And even after I spent $200 to fix this phone, as you guys can see, this phone will not turn on. And I'm actually going to try to turn it on for y'all so you can see this shit will not turn on. Look, I'm pressing the side button. Here's another negative I will say about iPhone as well. Like I said, I think I've already stated this. The design is not innovative at all. Like, this is just boxy. This is a boxy regular phone. It reminds me so much of the first iPhone, like one of the first iPhones that was released. I feel like the iPhone 5, which looked just like this, but smaller, of course. Boxy. There's not much innovation at all. Like, what I like about Samsung is that they tried many different styles throughout the years. This is the Galaxy Note 9, but as you guys can see, the screen here has a soft edge to it. It has a curve, which is really nice. Came with a stylus, really, really nice. Like a lot of Samsungs come with stylus. Had a headphone jack. Now, this is an older version. My new phone does not have a headphone jack. This is my new phone that I got. The Samsung A36, I believe. Is it the A36? I believe so. This is the new phone that I got. Yup, A36 5G. Again, probably older or the same age as when excuse me, the Apple 12 came out, the iPhone 12 came out. Look how much bigger. And this is the regular. Like I didn't get any ultra, nothing. This is actually on the downside of Samsung. So like I said, if you prefer bigger screens, Samsung is the way to go. Samsung does not charge me at weird hours of the night with no explanation and a reasoning why. They do not charge me. Here is a negative I will say about Samsung. The camera quality is a little bit bad. And what I noticed about Samsung is more so not just the pixelation is a little off, but also the lighting. I noticed that iPhone has a more clear, like bluish hue kind of lighting to it, and when it comes to Samsung, you look a little bit more pale and washed out. Samsung has a little bit more of a washed out kind of visualization when it comes to the camera. But the Samsung has variety, and I think that's what makes Samsung a little bit better. Not only does this come with fingerprint, this comes with facial recognition, regular old pin passwords or whatever. You can also design and customize your Samsung to your liking. So there are a lot of downloadable themes for the Samsung. Mine's is this kind of like Mario Kart kind of theme. As you can see, it is very common for Samsung to have like visual moving home screens and stuff like that. It's really, really, really cool. The camera is in the middle of the screen, which I like. Samsung also prioritizes having enough screen space. So yeah, the camera screen is not cut off. Unlike this phone, there was a portion right here where the screen was cut off. I can view my full screen, and only that little dot, which isn't really bothering me, is for the camera. Okay. So yeah, they just have bigger sizes. A little bit more, a little bit less cheaper. It's a little bit less cheaper than the iPhone, but the prices are kind of the same. The prices of the Samsung and iPhone are kind of the same. I do feel like iPhone runs a little, just a smidge bit more expensive, but yeah, I mean, both still pricey at the end of the day. But Samsung, you get exactly what you paid for. You get a little bit more than what you paid for. I wanted to get another Samsung with a stylus, but girl, desperate times call for desperate measures, and so I decided to just stick with this, and I don't mind it actually. Like I'm kind of happy. This comes with three different cameras as well. This is the flashlight, and the three different back cameras are the zoom quality. So some have in between zoom, outward zoom, inward zoom, and that is what that is meant for. Something else, a positive and a negative I have for these phones. A negative, the charging port. It is so hard to find an iPhone charger like with that fits it, right? With Samsung, because it has a C USB charger, you can like that's easily accessible. Many devices nowadays you use a excuse me, many devices nowadays you use a C USB charging port. So you can grab your computer charger, your headphone charger, plug it in real quick and do your thing. iPhone is the opposite. It has a specific kind of charging port. I don't even know what kind of charging port it is, but it's not easily accessible all the time, right? This is not something you can commonly share amongst all devices, right? So there's a little bit more convenience with having a Samsung. And that's another thing. I feel like the exclusivity, because let me wrap this up. The exclusivity of Apple that Apple tries to do, to separate themselves from their competitors, like having different charging ports and different systems overall. Like you cannot, and that's the, oh, and I'm gonna say this is a downside to having an iPhone. I don't care, you cannot FaceTime somebody that doesn't have an iPhone on an iPhone. Like if you have an iPhone, you cannot FaceTime your friend who has an Android. That is the one fucked up thing I have to say. With Samsung, at least you can use other apps to FaceTime, like Snapchat, Instagram, stuff like that. iPhone, you cannot FaceTime somebody that has an Android. You can do it through an app, but you can't just click on and yeah. So there's that. Overall, I would rate having an iPhone, because this is my first and last. I'm sorry, you guys. After this, I will not be getting another iPhone ever again because this was such a headache. Having an iPhone, there was constant issues and problems every single day. Every single day, it was a new issue, it was something new. So I will not be returning back to Apple. It is a scam, and I really just want you guys to break out of the societal pressure or falling for trends and stuff like that. Like, look through the illusion, y'all. I feel like without all the popularization of Apple, if Apple wasn't so popular and all of that, and glorified, I feel like everybody would see the reality that iPhone is just not that bitch. She's just not. So yeah, y'all, I'm very happy with my new phone. This is what it looks like. Kind of same, similar design to the iPhone, but much bigger with a USB charging port, which is very, very easy to find. And I'm gonna say this was the kicker for me. This phone still works. I could turn this phone on right now and use it to call and text. This phone still works. When this phone was down and out, this phone that I had years before this one still worked. So Samsung is very, very durable. It is very long standing. iPhone has a short lifespan. Okay, so there is that. Let me show these two side by side. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is more of an edge screen. This is the regular boxy screen. This one is more recent. This one is more older. Similar size. Very, very similar size. If not, I would say the same size actually. as you guys can see. And yeah, I am a Samsung girly, so let me know, y'all. After this, would you consider switching to Samsung or Android? If you already made the switch, shout out to you, girl. If you've been a Samsung girly or an Android girly, shout out to you. Period. You a real one. To all my iPhone girlies, who gives a fuck about what society has to say? Don't be afraid to go against the grain. iPhone is not worth it, and it's a waste of money. It doesn't last long at all, and I will never be purchasing again. I wasted $200 like 2 weeks ago to fix the screen just for it to break again. So there is that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was my surviving Apple girl. Literally been through hell and back with this phone. I'm never returning. And yeah, Samsung girly for life. I'll see y'all later. Bye.